All right, well, I'm back here in the shed, and you can see we've started patching up some of the nail holes and the seams in the drywall. I have to admit, I don't particularly enjoy doing drywall finish work. I think it's maybe just because I haven't done it a lot. So I think practice probably makes perfect with this kind of a project. It's just not my favorite thing to do. But we got some mud, we got some seam tape. I got that wall done yesterday, and then we're gonna work on the ceilings, the front wall, and then this side wall here today. I'm gonna see how much of this I can get done here right now. It'd be nice to get this project all wrapped up and put to bed. Alright, well, I got the ceiling done, and the front wall done, and some of the corner. I ran out of joint compound. So we still have the right wall to do, including the ceiling to wall joint, that wall, and then there's just a couple of seams down here below the window I gotta knock out. So, yep, ran out of mud, so I'll have to get a little bit more. I think I did the hard parts. So the hard part's done, and we just have that wall over there. It's just got a vertical seam and a horizontal seam, and then the corner, and then the top corner. So we're getting there. It is definitely not pretty. Like I said, I don't particularly enjoy doing this, nor am I would consider myself to be good at it. But you can always sand it down, and you can always put some more mud on it until you get it nice and smooth the way you want it. So I think the important thing is getting the tape to really just kind of be seated well onto the drywall, so it doesn't come off and peel over time. But we're getting there. We probably got a lot more sanding to do than I'd prefer, but Jessica can help out with that. We'll be good with that. All right, I gotta get to the store. We'll get some more materials. So I was gonna start doing that wall, but then I couldn't find the tape. So then I proceeded to look all over the place, up in the shed, down here, by the tools, in my truck, a few times. I'm really bad at losing things, and then I decided that I would come back here and look one more time since I couldn't find it anywhere. It was sitting in the Home Depot bag right here on the floor. So I'm gonna start working on the drywall here. was the best seam that I've done so far. I felt like it got a good base coat on it. I feel like it got it pressed down really well. And then I think this technique of kind of getting enough of the mud on it and then pulling it smooth across, I think it looks the best of any of these other walls that I've done here so far. So I think that's probably a little bit closer to what the real technique is. So I'm gonna keep going with that. Now that I've got every single seam done except for one more to go, I finally figured out the technique. Oh well. Well, just as soon as Jessica shows up, we're done. But the first coat's on. What do you think?
I mean, it's tedious, but I hate painting, and I still think painting is more tedious than this.
Yeah, if I had to give myself a grade, I'd be like a D or an F.
We got a lot of feedback saying that apparently we should have been using maybe like a 6-inch blade.
I was thinking that, like
on the tape
a
areas.
smaller blade would have worked, especially in those corners. So you've got the slope of the shed roof. It's a really tight angle, and with that large of a blade, it's really tough to get up in there. I had to go get a smaller little spatula thing to do the corners. It doesn't need to be perfect, but it's all right. We're getting there. Are you ready to paint?
I mean, painting's not hard. It's just tedious. Most of the finishing work right now has just been not hard. It's just tedious.
Well, I think our trajectory right now is we'll let this dry up. It's got to get dried. I'll probably sand it down tomorrow morning. I'll put the second coat on it sometime tomorrow. And then, depending on how fast that dries, we can either do the final sanding tomorrow and then the texture, or that'll be the next day. So we're probably like 2 or 3 days away from getting texture on the walls, and I just got the spray texture. So we're gonna do that. It'll be nice and simple. Should only take, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 cans, something like that.
And you've done that before, so at least you kind of already know a little bit of what to expect.
Yep.
Not as much of a learning curve.
It's definitely a larger size area than what I've done, but we'll be able to.
So when we first started building, we weren't actually thinking about doing a shed first. We were going to just go full steam on the shed, the pole barn. And I'm really happy that we did the shed first, because there's quite a few things that I think we've learned that we can apply now and kind of have a little bit more of a better idea of what we're doing.
Yeah, we're gonna still learn a lot of other things the hard way on the barn, but at least with this, I mean, it's good for us to kind of build a project from beginning to end together as just a little warm up.
Jessica's clubhouse.
Well, it is now day 2 here of drywall finishing. We finished up the walls here last night or yesterday. At least for the first coat, and now I'm going to go through and sand out all of the rough edges, and wherever we need a second skim coat to smooth it out over the tape, I'll go ahead and do that right now. And I'm hoping that once that dries, then tomorrow I can go through, give it one more fine sanding, and then we'll be ready for some texture and prime and paint. All right, let's do it. I just finished sanding after the first coat of joint compound, and after seeing all of the detail on the seams, I'm going to stand by my grade that I gave myself yesterday of a D to an F. I didn't do a very good job. And you know, it's the first time I've done a project of this size. I don't particularly enjoy doing this. But you know, I will say that this one wall over here where I had the 2 sheets that were pretty flush, I had a good taping, good joint on them. The sanding, it was almost, there's hardly any sanding that needed to be done at all. So that particular seam looks really good. Everything else needs a second coat for sure. So I'll get to that next. I just did kind of a second coat. I didn't have a ton of compound, joint compound left over. So I kind of just used what I had on the places that we had a little bit more of like a bump, or it wasn't as smooth of a surface. So I think this needs now a good, like a finer sanding in the morning. I'll let it dry overnight, and then I think it's gonna be fine. We'll do the texture tomorrow and get painting as soon as that dries. I might need a whole nother day for that to dry. But in the meantime here, I'm gonna take the work outside, and we're gonna do some work on the gutters.
Hello.
And the boys are working on pulling down some of the brush. If you can see that right there, some of the brush that we cut down the other day. We're gonna be cutting in and continuing the driveway up this direction and connecting to the to that roundabout, just so that we've got a wider turn coming down here. And then this road's just gonna continue on the driveway straight over right to where we have the travel trailer right there. And then on the far side of that, where you can kind of see the pink tape through there, that's where the pole barn, the shop's gonna be. So this will be the primary driveway going straight up to the garage. And then for reference, here's the shed. And then down there is gonna be the house site. You can kind of see the pink tape over there. But what I'm gonna work on right now is gonna be the gutters. Well, the gutters are done. I've got a couple of screens to prevent the leaves and pine needles from getting in the gutters that I need to put in on the end over here. And then we've got the downspouts that are gonna go, and they're gonna drain all the way out underneath, out the back, or the front rather, of the shed. So that way we've got good watershed. We're not puddling or having more erosion over and behind and underneath the shed than we need. So I'm gonna work on that right now, and I think the boys are gonna keep working on pulling out some of these.